Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. Today's beer comes from Hill Farmstead Brewery. This is their Genealogy of Morals. And they've made several different versions of this. The one I have here comes from Greg, and he writes Genealogy of Morals from Hill Farmstead. This is the first I've been able to send you from Hill Farmstead. I have had other subscribers send me beers from those guys because I can't get them here. I have not had this one before, and they've made, like I said, several different versions. He said, as most of their outstanding beer is only available in growlers, so they don't can or bottle a whole lot of their stuff. They do have a few bottles. My father, John, got this at the brewery, so he picked it up at Hill Farmstead. While it said it was bottled in December, it was released on May 17th of this year, which was last month. 3 weeks ago, today's the 8th of June. Hill Farmstead would have lines around the corner if they weren't so remote. I recommend you take your time with this and let it warm up slowly as it keeps getting better. Well, I always do that, Greg. I always let these beers come up to room temperature before I come back and do the final chug and stuff. So I do appreciate my brother Greg sending this to me, especially since his dad went to the brewery and got this and he sent it to me. I have such wonderful subscribers, guys, that stand in line and get beers and trade beers and send them to me. It's amazing. It blows me away sometimes. It really does. So with all the people that send me beers, and I have people contacting me all the time, I'd like to send you this. Have you had that? I'd like to send you this. It blows me away. It really does. So thanks to everybody that send me beers. And I could go on for 10 minutes on all the people that send me beers. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, let's get on with this. This is the final beer of the evening for me. This is a big beer, and I have discrepancies on what the ABV is. Untapped has it at 10.66. Beer Advocate has it at 10.7. And we're not using rate beer anymore, so I can't go over there to see what they think the beer is. But it does not have it on the bottle. That's the only fuss I'm going to have about this beer, not having the ABV on the bottle. And they should have some kind of vintage on it, but I know his dad went and picked this up. Even if they did brew it and bottle it in December, they did not release it until May. So from what I've read on Beer Advocate, that's correct. I've seen some of the guys write that they just picked this up in May at the brewery. So a brand new release from these guys here, and I'm sure it's going to be very, very tasty, guys. Hill Farmstead makes some outstanding beers, and like Greg said in the note, most of the stuff is done in growlers for the local people. And evidently they're in a remote area where there's not a lot of people actually standing in line. It will happen. It will happen. If they're brewing stuff that's outstanding, world class, it will happen. The word will get out, and people will start standing in line to grab their beers. So. And this is a big beer, like I said, it's over 10%. Not sure whether it's 10.66 or 10.7. I wish they would put that on the label. But you know, it takes a long time to get these labels approved, and maybe they're wanting to reuse these labels year after year. That's why they don't do it. And A lot of times the batches are just a little bit different ABV from one year to the next. Whether they change something or whether it just happens during the fermentation process. So it's a big beer. It's over 10%. So we'll just throw that out there. Let me get this thing ready to go. I don't think I don't have the IBUs listed here on Untapped for this beer. So I'm not sure. Being an Imperial Stout, I would say it shouldn't be very bitter, but a lot of times the IBUs can vary on these Imperial Stouts, depending on how much bitterness they think they need to do, so it's not a big sweet mess. So would like to see a little bit more information on the bottle than what I'm getting on this bottle. And then it's got a big commercial description written on the side. I'm not going to take 10 minutes to read that to you guys. It should be a very awesome beer. I've not had anything from these guys that have been sent to me that was not very, very tasty. So these guys know how to make a good beer. So with that being said, the Untapped commercial description says Imperial Stout brewed with coffee and aged for more than 20 months, almost 2 years, in a variety of bourbon barrels. So I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, final beer of the evening for me. So let's get the top off of this thing and get it into the glass. Nice little hiss, a little bit of smoke out of the top of the bottle. It's a fairly big bottle. I don't know if it's quite, it says here 500 milliliters. So it's 1 pint, 9 fluid ounces. So pitch black coming out of the bottle. It's not pouring a very big head, so let's stand it up. The food pairing cheeses are buttery, brie, good Havarti Swiss. Goes well through chocolate dishes. It's digestive. Meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glass bar to pint backer, non-tumbler snifter, oversized wine glass. I got my favorite snifter. And it says here it can be cellared for a long period of time. Well, if it's been brewed with coffee, I don't know if I would go with that. If it's had any coffee introduced into this beer, you wouldn't want to celebrate along because coffee is like hops and it's going to fade over time, guys. Didn't pour hardly any head at all, even poured aggressive. Just barely covering the top of the beer. I can even see the beer down to the center. It is pretty dark though. It is pitch black. There is no light coming through it. It is dark, dark, dark. Let's get a nose to it. It's got a very sweet back end, like it was some lactose used in the brewing process. Not getting a lot of coffee on the nose, but it's right out of the fridge. We're going to let it warm up. Toffee, caramel, brown sugar, molasses. Hints of dark fruit. A little bit of bourbon, not off the chain bourbon, but a little, I mean, I'm getting the bourbon notes. It was in those barrels for 20 months. I was actually expecting a little bit more bourbon than I'm getting, but it's there. Seems to be, with that being said, it seems to be very balanced. So I don't know if it was first run bourbon barrels, if they left it in there that long, but I am getting the bourbon notes. A lot of these breweries, they'll put beer in a barrel and leave it only 2-3 months. And if it's a first run bourbon barrel, you'll still get some bourbon notes. But if it's been a second or third run, it's had beer in it before, and they only leave it in there for a couple of months, you're not going to get a big bourbon note. So maybe they left it in these barrels for a longer period of time because maybe it had beer in it before, I'm not sure. If it was a first run bourbon barrel and they left it there in 20 months, I would say more than likely the bourbon would be blowing me away by now. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong, just my opinion. It seems to be very well balanced. And the more it warms up and opens up and comes up to room temperature, the more bourbon. I can already tell the difference in the minute or two I've been talking, how much more bourbon I'm getting on the nose. Now when I put my nose to it, I'm getting big notes of bourbon. So it's going to open up. By the time I come back with the final chug, it's probably going to be off the chain with the bourbon maybe. It smells very delicious, guys. A very nice dessert beer. This could be your dessert, or you could have it with a nice chocolate dish. Well, enough flapping of the gums. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Greg. And thank your dad for picking this up and you sending it to me. I do appreciate it. And your brothers, you've sent me a lot of very tasty beers, my brother. I do appreciate it, sir. Oh man, that's so delicious. That is very, very tasty, guys. I am getting a little bit of warmth from the bourbon on the back end. So I got a feeling the bourbon's going to come out more and more as this warms up. And this is right out of the fridge, but it doesn't taste that cold in the glass. I guess it's the bourbon notes that's doing that. Wow. Wow. That is absolutely freaking delicious. Big time bourbon notes now. Already, it ain't been but a couple of minutes. I am getting more and more bourbon. As time goes on, it's getting bigger and bolder and bigger and bolder. So, well, let me sip on this for a little bit, pour her a glass, and we'll come back and see where this ends after about 30 minutes. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on it for a while. Very nice bourbon notes now that's warmed up. Awesome beer. Very, very tasty. I would buy this beer if I could get it here in the stores. But this is probably brewery only release. It has no vintage on the label. I got a problem with that. I would like to see them put 2017 or even a month and a year. Whether it was done in January of 2017 or July or December. So we'll know exactly what part of the year they've done it when it was put in the bottle. So, and the ABV, it doesn't have the ABV on there. So it's lacking a little bit of information as far as I'm concerned. They could print that on there. If nothing else, put it on a label on the front here. Or they could use this label over again on the bottom. Just put something on here, 2017 vintage, or whatever, and ABV on that little tag if they think the beer is going to change from year to year. So I'm looking for a little more information than what they're giving us on the bottle. But it is an awesome beer, guys. It's very, very tasty. A great final beer of the evening, which it is for me, getting ready to have some dinner. Awesome beer. Wonderful aroma. The bourbon notes are there. I don't want to say they're off the chain, but they are definitely prominent now that it's warmed up. I'm getting it on the nose. I'm getting it on the taste. Wonderful beer. Absolutely wonderful. Final choke. The other half loved it. And she's a big fan of these bourbon barrel aged beers, just like I am. Very, very tasty, guys. As far as I'm concerned, and it's just me, just my opinion, this is a 10 beer in a 9 bottle because we're lacking ABV and some kind of vintage or bottled on date. So that's where I'm going to put it. 99 out of 100. If it had the vintage on it or some kind of ABV, more information that we want on the label, it would get to 100 for me. And if you say, oh my God, that's crazy, it's a 100 beer. I'm not going to argue with that, but I want to see a little bit more information than what they're giving us. So, 9 out of 10 for me, 99 out of 100. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate is 98. I'm one digit away from that. It is a world-class, outstanding beer. Over to Untapped. Untapped has it at 4.45. Almost the best numbers I've seen from those guys. I've only seen a couple more that had a better number rating than this, and I've not seen anything more than like a 4.56 or 4.57 from Untapped. So outstanding numbers from both Beer Advocate and Untapped on this, and outstanding numbers for me. 99 out of 100 for me. I just want to see a little more information from these, and I understand why they don't. If everything comes out the door of the brewery, it's not distributed, doesn't go to stores, I understand why they do not do that, but I want to see that. These, like I said, these beers are traded and sent and cellared and all that stuff, and you don't know what you end up getting unless they print it on the bottle or on the label or even an upper tag which this one does not have up here on the upper part up here. If they don't want to change this, just put something additional up here. So that's just my opinion, guys. If you've had this from Hill Farmstead Brewing, these guys do some awesome stuff. This is their Genealogy of Morals, the bourbon barrel aged version of it. Excellent, outstanding beer. I loved it. All right, once again, Greg, thanks again to you, your brother, your dad, for picking up these awesome beers and giving me a chance to review them. So I do appreciate it, sir. If you had this one, guys, from them, let me know what you think. And it's dinner time. I hear the bell ringing. Come on back tomorrow. Let's go see what's in the fridge. See you then.